What's up, Rambo fans? This is Nate Dogg, 33, and I am the second half of the crazy pair that's been bringing you the Rambo parodies. The editor-in-chief. But anyway, I want to elaborate a little bit more on how this came to be. The Rambo cartoon started in 1986. So what we used to do when we were kids, my brother and I would watch the cartoons. We would laugh, make fun of the mistakes. My brother would make fun of the mistakes by changing his voice and doing voiceovers while watching them, and I would just laugh. My brother and I used to draw our own comics. We used to have our own characters and just draw them, show them to our friends. So we thought almost right away when watching and making fun of these Rambo cartoons is that, hey, why don't we do our own comic? Why don't we do our own Rambo comic? My brother would do the jokes, I would do the drawing. We learned right away that him doing jokes off the top of his head, there's no way we could write all this stuff down right away. So we would record them. We recorded the cartoons on VHS, then we recorded his voice on audio tape, then we watched them with the sound turned out a little bit, and I would do my best trying to draw this stuff down. It wasn't too long before we realized there was no way we can do the comic. We made 4 of them. We couldn't get through them because my brother would change his voice for each character and would just have me cracking up while I'm trying to draw the cartoon. So for the most part, we would just sit there watching the cartoon and playing the audio track of his voice back and just cracking up. It got to a point where they were so much fun watching that my brother would sit there and say, let's make another one. And I'm sitting there like, I'm only halfway done on the first comic. He's like, no, we got to make another one. It's so funny to watch. I'm like, oh, all right. And then eventually I would do the same thing. I would say, hey, I would bother my brother. I'd say, hey, we got to make another comic. We got to make another Rambo. The ones that we have are getting old. Oh, all right. Eventually, the comic just got pushed aside, and we would just make our own little parodies with the videotape and the audio tape. But what my brother Joe didn't tell you was that we not only wanted to make it funny, but we wanted to make it really, really bloody. So I went through the archives, in other words, boxes in our basement of our old comics that we used to draw, and I want to share this with you. Here's the first Rambo comic that we did. We were going to draw him ridiculously muscular with a teeny tiny little head, and he would just tear up villains as he went along. Now this one we actually had to do from memory because the very first Rambo cartoon that we saw was called An Exercise in Terror, and there were 3 terrorist attacks by General Warhawk, but we couldn't remember them all. We only remembered the first one, so that's why this comic is so damn thin. But here's the next one we did, which was Rambo versus the Swamp Monster. And this actually, and the audio tape on this cartoon no longer exists. We redid it. We eventually redid it, just like we redid a whole bunch of other cartoons. But like I said, the original idea was that we would record our voices, record the cartoon, and then draw the comic. And we used to record our voices on top of the old ones. So a lot of the old stuff we don't have. Like, we don't have the original Black Dragon. We don't have the original Rambo versus the Swamp Monster. But anyway, I want to open this up because this is our bloodiest one. Everything was drawn in black and white. And as you can see, here goes Rambo just pretty much just slicing some dude's neck here. And there's his blood dripping down. And here goes Rambo. I gave him like a ridiculously large knife. It's practically as big as a sword, and just pops right through this guy's chest from behind. And as I'm looking at these comics, I'm realizing, god damn, when I was a kid, I couldn't draw for shit. I thought I was a really great artist. But here's a couple of pictures that I scanned, because it looks like I tried to actually step it up a notch. And these came out really well. Unfortunately, this is also the last comic, and the comic that I never completed. It's from the episode Target Supertanker. And here's Havoc. He's, trying to kill Rambo. We must kill him! Engine room, start up engine number 1, please. Just do it. And check it out. There's a little Nintendo down there under the computer. And let's take a look at the next one. Oh, yeah. Shut up, Rambo will be chopped into chop suey. Yeah. That came out really good.
And I wanted to share that with you to show you that, yes, I did know how to draw when I actually wanted to. Uh, but anyway, that's it.
So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying the parodies, because I'm having a lot of fun making them now, because I'm, with all this great technology at my fingertips, I'm able to add music, sound effects, and it's just fun, and I'm glad you guys like it. And I got some more in store for you. Stay tuned.